Dude, last night's pod was so good.
Last night's pod was amazing. How are we going to make this pod better? This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Friday, the real Friday, January 13th, and today's pod is just the best one yet. It's a T-Boy, Jack.
Happy Friday. Happy T-Boy.
Happy T-Boy. Jack, what's our first story for today's pod?
The NFL just dropped the wildest stat in all of business right now.
Get this. Of the top 100 top TV broadcasts of 2022, 82 were the National Football League.
For our second story, the CEO of Louis Vuitton has put his 5 children in charge of the company.
This is the plot of Succession in real life. That's what this is.
But with one more kid, actually.
En France.
And our third and final story. For the first time ever, a company is sucking carbon out of the air like a giant vacuum cleaner.
Climeworks just launched the first ever giant mechanical tree.
In France. No, that's not true. It's not in France.
It's not in France. It's not in France. It could be in France. Actually, it's in Iceland. It's in Iceland.
But Yetis, before we hit that fantastic mix.
Honestly, the perfect mix for a 3-day weekend. I love this mix.
We gotta talk about ABLE. A-B-L-E.
A-B-L-E, ABLE. That stands for Always Be Launching Everything.
Nick and me, we set a New Year's intention for the year.
And that intention is to keep launching new things for this podcast all the time. Be able.
So our first product launch of the year.
Yes, Jack. Little drum roll over there.
Not a metaverse, not lab-grown podcast co-host, not Web3 anything.
No, our first new launch of 2023 is the T-Boy Quiz.
Our brand spanking new T-Boy Weekly Quiz.
We're talking about the 1-minute weekly Pop Biz Pop Quiz.
It's live right now. You can check it out at go.tboypod.com.
That's go.tboypod.com, and we got a link in this here episode description.
You're going to find 5 questions based on the fantastic mix of stories over the week.
Yeah, so Yetis, you can listen all week, and then you can take the quiz every Friday. The real Friday.
You can do the quiz in traffic. You can do the quiz from the toilet.
It's a 1-minute test of how well you know the takeaways, because we want you to whip up the takeaways.
And we made this delightful quiz ridiculously shareable.
Honestly, it's so shareable, someone just shared it with me right now, Jack.
Drop the quiz in a text chain to compete with your buddy Timmy every week.
Yeah, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, you're going to take on Timmy.
5 questions, it takes 1 minute, there's 0 guac.
Maybe a little bit of guac.
The weekly T-Boy Pop Biz Pop Quiz.
Besties, you share your score, we'll hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Omaha.
What is Hot Route?
What is Hot Route? We got Omaha on 2 on 2 on 2 on 2 on who hike. Yetis, the NFL just finished its most exciting regular season ever.
The data and the dollars show that the NFL is the best drama on television.
Oh, but Jack, we got the playoffs starting this weekend in football. Who you got?
Daniel Jones and the New York Giants.
Yetis, whether you got Mahomes, whether you got Joe Burrows, you didn't watch the NFL this season. You experienced it.
Because the data shows it was the most exciting season ever.
And honestly, it wasn't just Geno Smith's rise or Russell Wilson's fall.
Or Damar Hamlin's scare that frightened and captured the entire world's attention.
Yetis, Jack and I jumped into the numbers. This was quantifiably the most dramatic NFL season in the history of football.
45% of games were decided by fewer than 6 points.
That is less than a touchdown. You bit your nails like a nun watching these games.
Do nuns bite their nails, Nick?
They don't not bite their nails, Jack.
Yetis, half the games were 1-score games.
Okay, get this. 25 teams in the National Football League had a winning percentage over 400.
So every team had playoff hopes until the end.
Except for the Bears.
Except for the Bears.
Yetis, the only data that Jack and I don't have is how much you sweat watching these games, and we wish we had that.
I sweat 5 pounds of fluids per game as a fan sitting on my couch.
Besties, you don't even notice we have to change our shirts in the middle of these podcast recordings. Imagine what we're like watching these games.
Because every week of football is a drama that not even the HBO people could script.
But Yetis, this is why Jack and I were fascinated with this story. None of that even compares to the greatest stat in all of media, nay, the greatest stat in business right now.
Get this wild statistic.
Okay, of the 100 most watched shows on TV last year, 82 of them were NFL games.
Okay, the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade had one in the top 100.
The Academy Awards also had one of the top broadcasts last year.
The World Cup had 3 of the top 100 broadcasts.
Political events had 4 of the top 100 broadcasts last year.
The NFL had 82 of the top 100 broadcasts on TV last year.
And he can pass.
Literally.
Can we play some NFL playoff music? Jack, that means it's time for a takeaway. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over in the NFL?
Sorry, Netflix. Sorry, HBO. The NFL is the most dramatic show on TV.
Yetis, let's look at the NFL as a business. As a business, the NFL brings in a whopping $18 billion in revenue a year. That's like way more than Lyft. Many Lyfts.
Over half of that is TV deals.
Besties, the way Jack and I see it, the NFL isn't in the sports industry, it's in the media industry.
And the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, is the king of television right now.
The NFL commissioner is the king because the biggest tech, Hollywood, and media companies out there are bending knees and pledging fealty to the NFL.
The NFL gets around $2 billion every year each from Disney, Amazon, CBS, Fox, and NBC.
The NFL gets $2 billion just from YouTube just for their Sunday ticket program.
Which starts next year with YouTube.
And the NFL gets $50 million from Apple just to sponsor a little 20 minutes of the Super Bowl halftime show.
The NFL is getting so much money from so many companies, Nick and I have to do like 6 stock disclosures at the end just because of this story.
We have to sit down, stand up, and get tackled again. Jack, this is the unscripted drama of the NFL that is driving those huge revenues.
Forget the Kardashians. The NFL is the most valuable reality TV franchise.
For our second story, which is the total opposite of our first story, by the way,
Yeah,
Jack. It is.
No spiking and no football.
No. Louis Vuitton CEO just announced their newest executive, and that newest executive is his daughter.
The largest luxury company on earth is run like the TV show Succession.
Oh, Jack, let's whip out the whiteboard here. Who is the wealthiest person in the world right now?
It's not Elon Musk anymore.
No, it's not.
Not by a long shot. It's not Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates either.
No more. They are no longer.
It's not Zuck. Sorry, Zuck.
I'm sorry. It's just not.
It's LVMH CEO Bernard Arnault.
Bernard Arnault. He's running Louis Vuitton, a company which actually we mentioned earlier this week because they own Sephora. They actually own 75 different luxury houses.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Hennessy. Bulgari.
Ooh.
Marc Jacobs.
Ooh la la.
Shandong Wine.
We could go on.
There's 70 others.
Add all that up. It is a $420 billion valuation company, publicly traded.
That's not just the largest luxury company on earth. It's the largest company, period, in all of Europe.
And this week, the largest company in Europe, run by Mr. Arnault, made a very interesting HR decision.
They promoted Delphine Arnault to CEO of Christian Dior.
And that means that the second largest brand at LVMH,
J'adore Dior,
is now run by Mademoiselle Arnault.
Now, you notice the name on the resume, Nick?
Jack, I'm checking the resume here. There are a lot of impressive stats, a lot of good bullet points, but I'm noticing that name.
I'm noticing a lot of Arnauds.
Yeah.
Because Mademoiselle Arnault, the new CEO of Christian Dior, she is the CEO's daughter.
Okay, Yetis, if you jump in T-Boy style, you're actually going to notice a lot of Arnauds running the largest luxury company on earth.
Antoine Arnault, 45, chairman of Loro Piana, the posh Italian clothing brand.
Or Alexandra Arnault, 30 years old, the executive VP of Tiffany's, the legendary American jewelry company.
Frederic Arnault, 28, CEO of Tag Heuer, the iconic Tiger Woods watch brand.
Jack, let's not forget about Jean Arnault, who is just 24, and he is not an unpaid intern over at LVMH.
He's not fetching coffees. He's the director of the entire Louis Vuitton watch division at the ripe age of 24.
No. He is not fetching coffees. He is fetching Fendi's.
5 children from 2 different marriages, all Bernard Arnault.
Jack, that's not an org chart. That's a family tree.
That's offspring.
And yet he's the father Arnault, the CEO. He is on a throne right now. He's not just an executive.
Because he just postponed his retirement by 5 years. Why?
Because, Jack, this is not just a company. This is literally the plot of Succession, the HBO show.
He postponed his retirement by 5 years so his 5 executive children can compete against each other for the throne.
Literally season 2 of Succession. That is Logan Roy right now in real life.
I'm on Team Shiv.
Okay, who's going to pull a Kendall? That's the big question.
I'm Team Tom.
There is definitely a Wamsgand in this corporation.
Who's the cousin Greg in this situation?
So, Jack, what's the... So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Christian Dior?
The fashion industry is a family affair.
Okay, Yeti, sometimes Jack and I just see a trend and we just got to call it out. It's that simple. That's what we're going to do.
The management style of choice in the fashion industry is nepotism.
And it's not just LVMH. Fast fashion icon Zara, they're run by the Ortega family over in Spain.
Prada, Chanel, Ralph Lauren, Dolce, Gabbana, family.
Yeah, these family businesses, they're impressive, but they can also be complicated.
Get this, there's actually an entire course at Wharton dedicated to running family businesses.
A whole class. But
it's taught by cousin Greg.
But despite those challenges, fashion has figured out how to scale the family business.
Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
You can do just about anything from your phone, but some industries, they've just been slow to move.
The finance industry was slow to move from phone to computer, and then from computer to app.
Robinhood wasn't. It's the Silicon Valley-based brokerage that's been updating apps since it was born in 2015.
Using the Robinhood app for your stocks and crypto is almost as easy as downloading it.
So you can invest at your pace on your terms by downloading the Robinhood app.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Stocks are offered by Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto.
All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood. For our third and final story, Climeworks has built the first ever working giant carbon vacuum. Unprecedented.
It's a new business model that we call CNAS. Not SAS.
No.
CNAS.
CNAS. Okay, Jack, if we had to sum up all of environmentalism in one message, what would that message be?
Stop making a mess.
Yeah, basically what your mom yelled at you.
And the biggest mess is carbon dioxide emissions because those are warming the planet.
But like your laundry, that mess just keeps getting bigger.
So in 2009, 2 Swiss PhDs said, hey, to clean up this mess, we're going to need a vacuum.
Okay, so that's when they turned like the challenge into a business opportunity. They set out to build a giant air vacuum that sucks CO2 right out of the air.
A giant air vacuum.
Yes.
And they call it Climeworks.
It is a Dyson in the air. Now, Yetis, here's the news. Climeworks just turned on their first ever carbon sucking vacuum up in Iceland, and it worked.
Yetis, we're talking about literally a gigantic gray box, like the size of a building.
Totally.
But it's a vacuum pointed up into the sky.
We're talking like the Hoover of the atmosphere here.
And it does 2 key things.
Yeah, the first thing this thing does is it filters out the harmful carbon dioxide from the air.
The second thing it does, it deposits that carbon dioxide into the soil where it will stay forever.
Now, here's the interesting thing, Yetis. Most companies could be headquartered in like a bunch of different places. But Jack, why are they specifically in Iceland?
They put the carbon vacuum in Iceland because of the rock formations there. When they make contact with carbon dioxide, a chemical reaction occurs.
Yeah, Iceland, lovely to visit, lovely to also save the planet, apparently.
The chemical reaction transforms the harmful greenhouse gas into rocks.
Boom, that is carbon getting sucked out of the air and put right back into the earth where it came from. And there's money along with that.
You know, a tree does the same thing.
Right. This is basically a giant mechanical tree. We could run with that too.
A tree sucks carbon dioxide out of the air, deposits it into the soil too.
Yeah, this company is basically one giant sequoia. So Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Climeworks?
This is a new business model, CNAS, carbon neutral as a service.
Yetis, Climeworks has raised over $800 million in funding from venture investors.
But it's already generating revenue, and its top client is tech giants.
Because big tech is just swimming in profits, and they feel guilty about doing so well while the planet is doing so badly.
So Microsoft, Shopify, and Stripe, those are the first three clients, and they all prepaid Climeworks to build this huge carbon vacuum.
Yeah, those big tech companies want to erase their impact on the planet, so they pay Climeworks to erase their impact on the planet.
That's why this is the new business model, CNAS.
Carbon neutral as a service. Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for the real Friday?
The NFL owned 82 of the top 100 TV broadcasts in 2022.
Sorry, Bravo. The NFL is the most dramatic show on TV.
For our second story, LVMH's crazy rich owner has 5 kids, and they're all his direct reports.
Yeah, because the fashion industry, it's a family affair.
And our third and final story is Climeworks. They just successfully sucked carbon out from the air in Iceland.
Tech companies paid them to do it because of CNAS. Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by Amit Bhatia from lovely Cleveland, Ohio, the Paris on the lake.
Los Angeles, California is so far west, you can't drive any further west than Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles, it's on the Pacific Ocean. It's the end.
Reno, Nevada is in the mountains all the way across California east.
Reno is in a landlocked state.
So Los Angeles is further west than Reno, Nevada, right?
That's what we would have thought, but we would have been wrong.
You'd be wrong. Reno, Nevada is actually further west than Los Angeles is.
Reno is actually 86 miles further west than Los Angeles is.
Because California's got curves, baby.
California, if it were a letter, it would not by a vowel, it would be J.
It really swings over to the east at the bottom there.
Kind of hooks over to the east. It's actually pretty cool.
It's a dogleg left.
Yetis, if you're in California too, stay safe, stay dry out there.
It's going to be another wet one this weekend.
Yetis, you looked fantastic all week. And if you have 1 minute today, and we bet you have 1 minute, we know what you should do.
Check out our Pop Biz Pop Quiz at go.tboypod.com.
Jack, we got to choose a final question for the quiz, by the way. Which one do you want to do?
That's true. There is one question per episode of the show for each week.
Are we going to do the NFL? Are we going to do Cineworks? Are we going to do Succession? What do you want to do? All right, we'll talk about it after the pod.
The answer is C, Cousin Greg.
It's always C. Besties, happy MLK 3-day weekend. We'll see you when the markets open on Tuesday. And before we go, happy birthday to legendary Yeti William Nutt in Raleigh, North Carolina.
But he usually celebrates his half birthday more than his birthday because he hates the winter and loves the summer.
It's not just his birthday either. William is actually the engineer, the architect, and the builder of the T-Boy Pop Biz Pop Quiz.
And he also built his own daylight savings program for his birthday, apparently.
Yeah. And a happy birthday to River, who is turning 3, the puppy in Shelburne, Vermont.
The OG pandemic puppy.
And a happy birthday to Nate Glennon, who's turning 5 over in Los Angeles.
And happy birthday to Dana K. Baltich, who's been listening to us since she was in utero. She's turning 2 down in Florida.
And Charlie Neely is celebrating that birthday on the slopes of Park City, Utah.
Happy birthday to Allison Bowden in San Francisco.
And Jennifer is seeing Hamilton for her birthday. Not too shabby.
And happy birthday to Chris Costello, who's moving to New York City to celebrate.
And Aiden Yehoshua is turning 18 and just finished applying to college.
And Nathan just got a new job in Chicago while sitting in traffic on the toilet.
And Jade McGill is celebrating a birthday by making a vanilla mousse raspberry gelée creme fraiche caramelized macadamia cake in Wisconsin.
And shout out to all the Hawaiian Yetis who are surfers, because the Eddie sadly is going to have to wait till next year. This is Jack. I own stock of Amazon, Disney, and Netflix, and Nick and I both own stock of Apple, Shopify, and Robinhood. Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
Jack, rule number 1 about a kitchen renovation, tell your friends about your kitchen renovation.
We know the cabinets are expensive.
Well, in the pandemic, a lot of companies renovated their businesses, focusing on apps and digital.
Robinhood didn't have to. It was built digital from the start.
Robinhood's mobile-first and intuitive design makes investing a little easier for every stage of your investing journey.
Whether you want to trade options, ETFs, or stocks through Robinhood Financial, or buy some Bitcoin on Robinhood Crypto, You can do all that right on the Robinhood app.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood. What is Hot Route?
What is Hot Route? We got Omaha on 2 on 2 on 2 on 2 on who hike.